Hi, welcome to the Craft Channel. My name's Corinne Bradd, and today I've got quite a pretty project for you to use up some of those odd scraps of denim. If you're like me, you never throw anything away. And I've got offcuts of jeans. And what I've done is I've made some little embroidered mats. So you can make them any size you like. So you can have them as dining mats, coasters. They say necessity is the mother of invention. I've actually got a salt lamp at home that when it's not on, draws in water from the air and deposits it on the tabletop. So I've now got a mat to put under it to soak all that water up. They've been embroidered with a variety of stitches using Janome's 5270 QDC machine. I think there's something in the region of 270 stitches in this. I'm not a machine embroiderer, but this has opened up a whole new world of decoration for me. So I'll show you how easy it is to get started. Grab yourself a piece of backing fabric, a piece of quilt wadding, and a square of scrap denim. And what you want to do first of all is just make a little mark in the centre. So about there. Is that right? Yeah. And then what you would normally do, I would think, is use a quilter's pencil. I'm actually using an opaque gel pen. Reason being is I want you to be able to see how I'm marking this out. You can actually then wipe this ink off when you're finished. But I'm just going to draw a series of concentric circles onto my denim. And I'll just do one final one, and this one final one will be my cutting guide. But I'm not actually going to cut this into a circle until I've done the vast majority of the embroidery on this. Pin your outer corners to stop things shifting as you work. And just by way of a change, I'm not actually going to use white thread. I'm going to use a denim golden colour thread. Just put the lid back on my pen before it dries out. And one of the other great features about this Janome machine is it comes with a set of magnifiers. Now these magnifiers, 20 power, a 40 power and a 60 power, I'm using the 40 at the minute. You simply pop them in and out of the holder with this spring clip, which means that it can be adjusted to suit the height. And then just here in front of your thread cutter, and it just pops up into the hole. This magnifier is a godsend because you can flip it away if you don't need it, but it just shows you exactly where you are and where you're working much more easily, much less eye strain. Really handy. So, with your Janome machine, you've got various different modes. Now, I tend to use mode 3 and 4 for embroidery. 3 tends to be a lot of what I'd call like length stitches. They don't use a lot of stitches like this one here. There's quite a lot of stitch work on those zigzags. The mode 3 tend to be more open stitches that work quite quickly. I keep meaning to actually bring the list of stitches, but I'm going to start here with a little floral stitch, and I'm going to work the centre first. And this will be the trickiest part because you've got a tight curve to get around. So I'm going to slow the machine down a little bit. And then as long as you keep your white line in between the gutter of your presser foot, you should be all right. And you'll see that your machine is working backwards and forwards, and your needle is going side to side to create this pattern. What I will say is, as you're working on the bigger circles, it does become much easier. And when you get to the end, just keep a check on where you started, and if you can, just avoid overstitching and trim it off. So you've got your ring of a floral design, and as I say, that will be the hardest one, the central one. Let's find another stitch. This looks quite good. This is a chain with some stars in it. And now I'm just going to slow the speed down a little bit as I'm approaching the end. Because I want to try and match up my pattern as best as possible. It's not too bad at all. One thing I will say as you're doing a project like this is don't try and force your fabric through the machine, because with embroidery stitches your feed dogs are moving backwards and forwards the whole time to create those stitches, and you risk puckering it if you try and resist against that force. So I'm just going to do a last line of embroidery, and then I'm going to trim the edge and show you how you finish it. And as you can see, as your circles get bigger, it's a lot easier to control the flow of your fabric. And that stitch there is just quite a nice thick, it's almost like a stem stitch in embroidery. So I'm going to trim the edge of my mat on that last white line that I drew. So I've got quite a nice binding stitch. It's actually the stitch that I've used here on this mat. And what I'm going to do is allow some of these stitches to overlap the cut edge of my fabric, and then that will bind all the layers together. So really what you want to do is you want to make sure that the cut edge of your fabric is running in the gutter of your foot. So I'm just coming to the end. What that's done is that's bound the edges, the layers together, and the stitches that would normally go on the other side are just hanging over, so it's almost like a blanket stitch on there. So very easy once you've done that first circle. Very quick to knock up. You can make them from scraps of denim. These have just been layered together with fusible interfacing, and then these extra bits that haven't been stitched and held in place I have just gently glued down. But a whole host of embroidery stitches. One other point to note, don't play bobbin roulette. Make sure that you've got a full bobbin as you're doing this, because if you run out of bobbin thread in the middle of something like this floral pattern, you're going to hate having to try and line it up again to get a perfect finish. So I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you like what the Janome 5270 QDC machine can do. There's a whole host of other things this machine can do, and I haven't got enough time to go through it all. But if you watch any of our other demonstrations, you'll notice that I've been using the machine quite a lot now, because it's actually my favourite now. Please subscribe to us, because then you'll get notified when we get a new demonstration come up, and we do quite a lot of sewing tutorials. In the meantime, thank you very much for coming back. If you've come back, thank you very much for finding us. If you're a new subscriber, we'll see you again very, very soon. But in the meantime, keep safe, and thank you for watching. If you've been inspired to create, please share your makes with us in the comments section below. And if you've enjoyed videos by the Crafts channel, hit the like button. Want to see more of us? Then click subscribe. See you next time.